Day two of NDC. I'm getting some nods. Fantastic. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're all enjoying NDC so far. This is my first time in Denmark, by the way. I'm originally from the UK, hence the accent, but I've traveled all the way from Melbourne, Australia. I'm actually on my honeymoon, kind of at the moment. So my wife is in the audience. We've just spent a wonderful 3 weeks in Italy, so I've enjoyed the good weather, the good food, and come to Denmark and continue to enjoy the good food. And the weather is very similar to what it is in Melbourne, so thank you for making me feel welcome. But no, it's a beautiful country. I've really enjoyed the past couple of days now we've spent in Denmark. It's a wonderful place. I should come back again. Depending on how this talk goes, you guys might kick me out of the country. I don't know. Anyway, welcome to this talk on platform engineering in the age of Gen AI. This is a very ambitious title. I was going to say topic title to have, especially when you go on holiday for 5 weeks, because you kind of assume that, oh, the topic's not going to change that much. But with AI, things seems to change daily. Well, there's always a new thing that's kind of coming out. So this talk has evolved over the past few months that I've done it. So let's see where we are today. About me, I am a senior software engineer working for Microsoft. I work in the industry solutions engineer, obviously based on the work that I do, which was kind of a weird position within itself because DevOps is a process. It's not really a position. I think of testing it, and I've got platform engineering now. And it's not necessarily that. It's just basically agreements between human beings through it. It's a bit teaching, and I've got platform engineering now. And it's not necessarily that. It's just basically agreements between human beings through APIs how we're actually going to do our work. Because if you buy a platform, or if you kind of build a platform and you're forcing everyone into it, that's kind of defeating the point. No one's going to want to use or love a platform that they're forced to use. Essentially, platform engineering is about making it the path of least resistance. And really, quite simply, it's just about how we can make lives easier for developers. It's how we can help them to be self-sufficient. Now, a lot of us would say that kind of gets translated through automated pipelines, integration tests, security scanning, stuff that kind of just works. You kind of build it out and say you're building an application, you're deploying a binary somewhere, and you want to make sure that your security teams are going to sign off on it. So you have some steps in there. Maybe you're scanning the container image that's being generated, or you're doing some static code analysis. And you want to make that as easy as possible. And then it's kind of standardizing that across teams and organizations to make that adoption or make that a bit easier for other teams, so they're not writing stuff from scratch. So how many, just to use that as an example, how many of you have actually kind of working with a security team within your organization, like after you've built something, you've kind of asked for permission to deploy it? It's a bit tedious, right? Where and have you ever been rejected, or has it ever been rejected based on like, oh, you haven't used this particular tool, or you haven't done it in this particular way? That has happened to me. It's good to see that there aren't many nods in the audience. Having gone through that pain myself, essentially the idea of an internal developer platform isn't like a shiny new portal somewhere that you've just bought. It's kind of adopting kind of an automated way of doing things to make life easier for you. Also, another question: how many of you have been in teams where your team was like the first team to deploy applications to the cloud? One or two. Was it painful for the first time, like writing infrastructure as code templates and just basically figuring out how it all works? I've been involved in teams like that, particularly I used to work for a bank, and trying to do that in highly regulated environments as well, where you're working with different stakeholders. That can be a bit of a mission as well. So really, some forms of platform engineering can really be simple as just kind of like pipeline templates or infrastructure as code modules. And there's more nuances to that, because particularly with something like Terraform, you have Terraform registries, and there's also bicep registries. But essentially, that could be as simple as what platform engineering actually is. Then AI came into the picture. The developer experience has transformed incredibly since 2023, 2022 even. Richard was talking about in his keynote yesterday. Anyone recognize any of these? Everyone's nodding. Yeah. Yeah. Coding assistants are great. I'm here to tell you that. I'm not here arguing that coding assistants are bad. I'm not saying that because I'm working for Microsoft and I use coding assistants every day. But they have transformed the developer experience. Now, just to take off my Microsoft hat at the moment, we kind of started off basically selling the idea that if you're using Copilot, or if you're using Claude or Codex or whatever, that you'll become this 10x engineer in You can deliver features super fast. So, oh, my clicker died, and then it came back to life. So yeah, AI is going to write the code for us. We're going to ship features overnight. It's not going to take us weeks to develop something and ship it to customers. This is going to be simple for us. Whereas the reality is, even before AI, documentation wasn't something I think as an industry we did too well. How many of you, be honest, didn't document your stuff too well? It's all right, we're in a safe space. They can film me, everyone had their hands up. No. There was inconsistent tooling amongst teams as well. And with AI, a lot of kind of like the early kind of vibe coding patterns we saw was just kind of YOLOing it. I know Copilot has got a YOLO mode, which is, I've never used it, honestly, because that seems to me like you're just asking for trouble. My clicker's doing something funny today, but that's okay. I'm by the keyboard. So yeah, just ChatGPT, dude. I'm a big South Park fan. Now, the data, we've kind of moved on a little bit from this data, but I have included it. Basically, the idea is, from the vendor perspective, there is a marketing arm saying, just adopt us, and you'll be faster, your engineers will be more productive. And that came from a really narrow 2003 study. And more, as time has gone by, there have been more studies where senior developers, particularly from Microsoft and Accenture, were asked, has this increased your productivity? And you'll see those kind of metrics will say, yes, we've raised more PRs, we've committed more code. And I think the kind of looking at it as a volume or a percentage of stuff that we've pushed and committed doesn't necessarily mean that we're more productive. Yeah, we're producing more, but we're not producing more in value, right? And this studies actually showed that. So senior developers kind of said there's no statistically significant gain that we're actually getting. We're pushing more, yeah, but we're not actually being more productive. And in the open source world, there was a study where there was more code was being produced. There was faster being produced, but reviewing it was taking a long time. I think open source has kind of led the way of its skepticism towards AI for a good reason. I'm not a maintainer for a large project. Have we got any maintainers in the room of large projects? No? Okay, well, I'll empathize based on an assumption that it must be very taxing for you've got a large project and lots of people are trying to commit and trying to contribute, which is a good thing. But trying to sort out the AI slot from the meaningful contributions will slow you down, whether you're in an enterprise or you're working on an open source project. Now, I've included a study that was done kind of pre-Claude Mythos about how vulnerabilities were being introduced. Mythos has kind of changed that perspective. Richard had a slide yesterday showing how Firefox have kind of resolved some of their security vulnerabilities. That was, I believe, using Claude Mythos, which is apparently quite a powerful model. I haven't used it. But I think we're still at a stage where vibe coders and YOLOers are going to introduce security vulnerabilities into our code base if we're not careful. So let's talk about vibe coders. And again, this one I am kind of laughing at, but I'm trying not to be mean, but this is where we kind of started out when we first kind of, vibe coding came apparent. So this guy, he built his entire startup using Cursor with 0 handwritten code. And he went on X or Twitter, as you do, and decided to share his success in probably not the most humble way. This to me is a very typical alpha bro who spends more time in finance than in the real world, but basically saying my SaaS was built with zero handwritten code. AI is no longer assistant, it's also the builder. And then this line, now you can continue to whine about it or start building, which just a small insight into the psyche of this man. So the attacks happened. So within days of launching his SaaS, he complained desperately online. So guys, I'm under attack, random things are happening, a maxed out usage on API keys, people bypassing the subscription, and creating random stuff in the database. So the problems were everywhere, and they're embarrassingly basic as well. So users could bypass the paywall because there wasn't a real authentication system. The cursor just created a facade of it. Attackers were spamming the API because there was no rate limiting. Who hasn't done that? And the database was filling up with garbage because there was no input validation. So these aren't sophisticated hacks. These are just basic textbook security failures that any first-year computer science student or anyone who's educated in computer science or programming would know how to avoid. But the AI cursor generated this code that looked functional while completely ignoring
Feeling hot and tired? Try this. Real oolong tea. So refreshing.
Eventually shut
Perfect
down
for
the
sharing.
app permanently and said, for now I'm just going to stop sharing what I do publicly on X. There are just some weird people out there. And that's fair, because he just posted something or put something on the public internet. How did he know it was going to get hacked by people who love a challenge? Now, again, I'm making light of it a little bit, but there's a reality there. If you're running your entire business on code that you don't understand, you're not really an entrepreneur. You're just kind of hoping that nothing breaks. And I've yet to meet anyone who thinks that hope is a strategy. Now, in the open source world, NX is a popular build tool that's used by thousands of developers worldwide. Who uses NX here? So did you see this? This was a PR that, it was an AI-generated PR used to speed up development. And some projects have taken on, yes, we are going to accept AI-generated PRs. That's fine. Some have been a little bit more explicit and said, no, we're going to reject this, but these guys did. And it created a subtle flaw. So essentially, it used the pull request titles directly in shell commands without sanitizing the input. So this created what's called a command injection vulnerability. So essentially creates a backdoor that anyone could exploit. An attacker discovered this vulnerability in an older branch, created a malicious pull request with code that was hidden in the title. So when the automated systems processed this, they actually executed the attacker's commands and then leaked the NX publishing credentials. And with those credentials, the attacker pushed a compromised version of NX itself, and that update spread malware to users' machines, which tricked local AI coding assistants to steal GitHub tokens, API keys, and even cryptocurrency wallets from around 1,500 developers. And then finally, this is a hell of an example. So Jason Lemkin, he's the founder of a SaaS community called SaaStra. That's a great name. He decided to experiment with Replit's AI agent to build a prototype. So for 9 days, everything was working brilliantly. You know that kind of like magic aha moment when you're working with technology and things are just kind of working, and he was experiencing that. So the AI generated code, it handled complex logic, and it built what he thought was quite a sophisticated application. He was so impressed that he decided to put his credit card down and spent over $600 in additional charges beyond the monthly plan. That's when disaster struck. So on day 8, despite explicit instructions to do a code freeze and make no changes, the agent decided that the database just needed a bit of a cleanup. Within spent over, sorry, 6. So how do we kind of solve this? There is inconsistent behavior across your developers in your organization. If you think about how you do your work day to day for your organization, you might be using particular language conventions. You might be deploying to different targets. So obviously, I spend a lot of time in the .NET and Azure world. Some of you might be writing Java or Golang and deploying to AWS or GCP or other providers. So it's essentially one part of it is to make sure that there's consistent behavior across your organization that reflects the way that you do your work. And also, this challenge, I think this may change with time. I think in the initial early stages, we saw very much an experimentation phase where we would try different coding assistants. So some developers would have
Wow, you see this? 1 cent only leh. Serious, not bluffing you. Almost free sia. No sugar, healthy for skin. Sip already, no guilt. And the taste? Continuous thumbs up, real refreshing. Wow, you see this? 1 cent
credits, and some would have GitHub Copilot, or some might have Claude. I think now we might see, it's particularly in the enterprise space, some being more opinionated, saying, no, our coding assistant is GitHub Copilot, or no, we're going to go all in on Claude Code. I could be wrong on that, but I think now that the billing model is changing and the benefits of, I won't go too much into billing today. I'm a software engineer. I'm not trained in the sales side of it.
Wow, you see this? Natural antioxidants and slay.
So
Perfect sugar.
Insights onto billing changes, particularly since they were made last week and I was in Italy. But we will see less of different developers within organizations using coding assistants.
Wow, so faster, click the link below to grab yours now. Don't miss out drink. Don't miss out on this healthy and refreshing tea. Bye-bye. Wow, so faster, click the link below to grab yours now. Don't miss out. Drink. Don't miss out on this health. Wow, so faster, click the link below to grab yours now. Don't miss out drink. Don't miss out on this healthy and refreshing tea. Bye-bye. Wow, you see this? Natural antioxidants leh. Perfect sugar. Wow, so faster, click the link below to Wow, you see this? Natural antioxidants leh. Perfect sugar-free drink. No sugar, healthy for skin. Sip already, no guilt. And the taste? Real refreshing. Best for your body. Wow, so faster, click the link below to grab yours now. Wow, you see this? Natural antioxidants leh. Perfect sugar. Wow, you see this? Natural antioxidants leh. Perfect sugar-free drink. No sugar, healthy for skin. Sip already. Wow, you see this? Natural anti Wow, you see this? Always wake up with a stiff neck? This memory foam is a game changer. It perfectly supports your head and neck. Get yours now at the link below. Even if you sleep on your side, it's super comfortable. The design fits your neck and shoulders perfectly. And the cover is washable. Don't miss out on this. Click below to Always wake up with a stiff neck? This memory foam is a game changer. It perfectly supports your head and neck. Get yours now at the link below. Even if you sleep on your side, it's super comfortable. The design fits your neck and shoulders perfectly. And the cover is washable. Don't miss out on this. Click below to get yours now.